Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to talk today about what eczema is. Eczema is basically the representation of a toxic body. So when you see eczema in your skin, like my eczema was around here, the skin pores actually widen to allow out the toxins. So what eczema is, what you're seeing with all this red stuff and oozing and whatever else is happening with your skin is it's literally the pores widening to allow those toxins out, along with all the inflammation that comes with that. The reason that some people have eczema and some people don't is that not everybody has the same toxic load on their body. And also, not all bodies decide to push those toxins out through the skin. Some bodies decide to do that through other means, hopefully through the means that were designed to control toxins like the kidneys and the waste systems in the body. The skin takes over when those systems become overtaxed and certain bodies decide to push those toxins out. It's actually a good thing. Eczema is a good thing if you have a toxic body because it's a sign that your body has enough vitality to be pushing those toxins out of the body. Vitality is basically this. Vitality is the amount of energy you have left over once all the survival mechanisms of the body are taken care of. Detoxification, which is the process of pushing those toxins out of the body, takes vitality. So you could have a really toxic body, but because you're so busy and because your energy is being used up on other things, you haven't got that leftover energy. You haven't got that vitality to push those toxins out. And so you might have a really high pressure lifestyle, a very stressful lifestyle, like we were talking about in previous videos, but your body doesn't have the energy, the leftover energy from that lifestyle to be pushing those toxins out. One thing you've probably noticed is that you tend to catch colds right after a period of very high stress. Like for me, I used to catch colds right at the end of a school term. And the reason for that was because my body was being taxed with all the stress of the exam period and revising and cramming all that information into my head, that during that period it didn't have enough energy, it didn't have vitality to be detoxifying as it went along. So as soon as I ended that, as soon as the exams were over and that stress was no longer there, suddenly the body was like, I finally got energy to get rid of all this toxic load that's been storing up over this time. What used to go through my head when this happened was, just my luck. Just as the holidays begin, I get a cold or I catch a cold. And we think about catching colds, but most colds aren't actually caught. Most colds that we have, that we talk about catching, what they actually are is the body coming to a place where it has a bit more energy left over from the daily tasks and it's got enough energy to start doing some house cleaning to start pushing out some of this toxic load. Now, when we catch a cold, we don't really mind that too much because, it lasts for a week, maybe a couple of weeks at the most. And by the time we've got rid of all those toxins, we're ready to go again. We've got the energy to get up and carry on with our lives. And we're used to catching colds, and so we don't really mind. We kind of just get used to the process that maybe once or twice a year we catch a cold, or we get sick, body pushes out those toxins, and we carry on with life. Eczema happens when the toxic load on the body is so great that the body has to push out some toxins through a very unnatural route, in this case through the skin. What we tend to find is the only people that don't get colds are the people that are really healthy or the people that are really sick. Because the people that are really healthy, they haven't got enough toxic load stored up to bother having a massive mucous membrane and pushing that out all in one go. They just detoxify as they go along. And the people that are really sick, they've got so much toxic load going on that the body just simply cannot. It hasn't got enough vitality to push that toxic load out. This is a really scary place to be because who knows what those toxins are going to rear their ugly heads as later on. That could be cancer, it could be diabetes, heart disease. They could be deep storing in the body, doing all kinds of damage, but we'll never know about that until suddenly we wake up and we've got some major chronic disease on our hands. For those people who do have eczema and acne and that type of thing, we can take a bit of solace from the fact that our body has got enough vitality to push some toxins out. And what we need to do is actually work best with the eczema to make it effective. If the body's decided to have eczema, we might as well make the most of it and get as much toxin out as possible. Take the opportunity to detoxify completely, get back to a place where the body is more or less free of toxin and it can then learn how to detoxify little by little as we go along. That's how people permanently heal themselves from eczema. If you're just doing cleanses here and there to try and knock off some of that toxic load, you're always going to have a bit of eczema going on. You're always going to have dodgy skin issues. But when you get to the point where your lifestyle becomes a detoxifying lifestyle and the amount of toxin you're taking in is never more than the body can cope with, then you don't have eczema, you won't have acne, you won't have skin conditions. And more importantly, you won't have deep stored toxin, which could cause things that are more serious than eczema and skin conditions later on down the line.